Time check. It is 10 minutes after 10 minutes after 9 this beautiful Monday morning, Monday the 27th of April 2025, 2026, beg your pardon. If you're not happy about anything, please be happy that we're in salary week. So, oh my Wale, anytime from now. And like I said this morning, if you've already spent your money, I don't know what to say to you right now, but God will help you. That's it. Anyway, this is still Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. My name is Fumi Bangala. And it's a delight to be sharing this morning with you. Rose isn't here because she's a little bit under the weather. I've jumped ahead of it just before you ask me that question when you call or send a message. And for our ladies as well who have already joined us this morning. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. You can start texting us from now, 0703 1756, and our phone lines will be open shortly. I'm not going to say it now. Name your seats. 070917917 09155917917. This is HerLens. This morning we were having conversations with our ladies from the ladies of HerLens. Yes, that's good. We're having conversations with them. They're in different locations, and the conversations sometimes are heated. Sometimes they are just very, very, normal. What we get wisdom from these amazing, very, very wise women. And their opinions are very, very varied. We have the one that will talk like a pastor, that's Buki. The one that is fire for fire like me, that's Susan. And then Ibinabo is very grammar-ish. I'm just like, Ibinabo, please, let's fight. No, I think half the time. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's welcome our ladies. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Buki. How are you this morning? Hi, Susan. You're looking bright, fresh, so clean. I'm beautiful. She does. Go on YouTube to see Susan at WFM 17. You see her. Good morning, Susan. How are you?
Morning, Fumi. It's good to see you. And yes, this week, that is salary week, is very, very good to see you. Good morning, HerLens family. Good morning, Buki Efe. It's a new week, and we're grateful. We're moving towards the end of the first month in the second quarter of 2026.
My God.
And just like that, we're grateful for life. We're grateful for good health. I've been under the weather for the longest, but
Oh, so
I'm
sorry.
good. I'm good, and we're here to shake everywhere now.
Yeah.
That's boss.
Yes, because the stories today, let me just tell you, the stories today, I was fuming. Like, because by the time I knew, so I hadn't even checked them. I didn't check them yesterday either because I went to bed early. But by this morning, I didn't check them because I had a busy morning. So when I knew I was going to do HerLens, I said, okay, let me check the topics. My, I, okay, I've been praying to God. I've been saying, I said, God, please give me self control today. Hold me today. I'm not joking. I've been praying. If you ask them in the studio, they will tell you that I've been praying and telling God to give me self control because that's the only thing that can help me today. But before we get
I know
into
that energy.
yeah,
I know that energy, but
yeah,
then we have to do what we have to do at the end of the day.
God will help me. God will help me. Good morning, Buki. How are you? Ibn has joined us as well. Hi,
Good
Buki.
morning. Let us be calming down. Everything is going to be fine. If I
You
talk
see what
like
I
a
said?
pastor, and I'm not yet a pastor, so when I become a pastor, I will be pastor, pastor,
I mean,
pastor,
you will give
pastor.
us pastor energy. That's what I said, Buki. So this is the problem.
Oh,
This
Lord
guy
have mercy. Yes, so good morning, everybody. It's a bright day. Yes, it's a bright day, no doubt about it. And this one, Susan, it be like say your internet and light for that place is correct. Yeah, we are trusting God even for bandwidth. We dey trust God, but we know Sha.
yeah,
We will live
it
in
will be better.
Goshen. We will live in
God will do
Goshen.
it for us eventually.
It is well. So good morning, everybody. Good start for the week. Yeah. So Ibinabo, you say Ibinabo na grammar, English, you balance
Dummy
them.
energy, very peaceful. The few times I've seen Ibn Abba get upset, I'm like, oh wow, she can get upset. Okay, interesting.
You never know.
No, but Bookie, I don't think I've seen Bookie get upset when we talk about issues. Maybe I have, I'm not sure.
No, maybe once or twice. Maybe once or twice. Yes, I have
Me,
done that once or twice.
I never
Yes,
see. She will
I
also
Yeah,
know.
codedly handle
It is,
it. You will not notice the
once
anger.
or twice.
exactly.
If Nabon will remember, I say, Buki, calm down, calm down, calm down.
Hi, Binaba. Good morning. How are you? Oh God,
So,
this fineness is too much. This fineness is too much. What's going on?
small matter. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, ladies, Lady Susan, Lady Buki Afe, and all our valued listeners. It's great to be here. And yeah, I think that you guys mentioned fuming. I'm going to put my own to check. I'll control mine. I'm not allowed to go outside of a particular circle.
Also, she's in my lane too. But let's get into it. The first story we're going to be treating is this mom. Interestingly, I had seen this before, the original video, but I didn't really pay attention to because I see that I didn't want to be angry. I was just like, well, how many things can somebody really, really consume, really? So this story is about a mom of two who came out to ask people if they use a particular textbook in their school. And she said because what she saw in the textbook for her nursery two child. Now a nursery two child would be what, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, was alarming. So she came out to talk about it. We thought that was the end of it. But she has come out with another video to say that the publisher of that book is now threatening her life, not just her life, threatening, family members as well. And that's where me, I'm not, I'm not with it at all. Now, the story that she saw in this nursery two book, she saw a story of an old lady and a dog. They loved each other. If you're an animal person, you know that a lot of people love their animals. But where it got a bit somehow for her was that a thief came to the house to steal their food, and the dog owner thought it was the dog who ate it, takes a sharp object to the kitchen, uses fire to burn it, and then puts it in the nose of the dog to punish the dog. And she was alarmed. Now, if you're a very present mom or you're a mom who's involved in your child's maybe education, you know that sometimes when you read some things, it raises you raise an eyebrow and we're like, wait, why is my child reading this kind of thing? Right. And that's why, so it raised an eyebrow for her and she came onto social media to talk about it. So now she has come back crying and wailing about how, they're threatening her, they're threatening her family members, they're threatening her friends, they're threatening people that know her, they're threatening her. And she's just trying to be a good mom. Who wants to build the cat? Even about, do you want to go first? We have to serious matters to talk about today. So we have to keep our comments like shocky because the second one, that's where the power is really. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so really, it's very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
The other time it was about book. Now we're talking about book.
Mm-hmm.
And I look around, and I do not see where what this woman did should warrant threat to life or loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
It is an infringement on our right because we have a right to freedom of expression, and this includes giving opinion, okay, criticizing a book, school, or teaching. I mean, she still is within the ambit of the law.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason threat is still unknown to me because, you know, calling out disturbing content shouldn't the publishers of the book should even feel embarrassed because calling out disturbing stories like this is not against the law.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked it up against the law. If it was a false statement, it wouldn't have been, or it would have been a different ballgame
Mm-hmm.
entirely. But she even showed us the book and she showed us the page where she read out whatever she read out.
Mm-hmm.
And she raised a very valid point that the book contains very disturbing content.
Yeah.
So, and it's inappropriate for children. What are we talking about? The other time we discussed, we have on this program, I've discussed different stories bordering around some crazy behavior from some children.
Mm-hmm.
And how come? There was a particular story that we discussed on this program some years back. A boy, a primary school boy, pupil because he was always the best in the class. So of course, if you are the best, everybody will pay you attention, and you will get a lot of love and all of that. So a new girl came into the class and started doing well and even doing better than he was.
Mm-hmm.
He became jealous.
Hmm.
A lower primary, not even a senior primary school, lower primary school. That boy shouldn't be more than 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
8 years old. And he brought a poison from home
Oh my.
and watched this girl, monitored her closely. And when she was done with her bag and her lunch box, he went to her table or her desk and poured some things into a water bottle. Another child saw her but kept quiet and was watching. So when it was time to go on break and she wanted to drink the water, the other boy said, no, don't drink it. So person poured something inside. That was how the teachers got to know. Eventually, they questioned the boy and all of that, and they had to tell them the reason he did it. So you can imagine if a boy as little as that could come up with such, then you want to wonder what kind of books he read while he was a toddler. So you see, we need to understand, even as educators, even as publishers, how does a child reason? Because you cannot just wake up and say because you have a publishing company, you have the money to publish, then you have connections with schools that are careless, that don't even do book review before they endorse for their children in the school. You just bring in books and they just, probably because the profit margin is very good, you buy it and then you sell it, you make parents buy it for their children. It is unfortunate because if you look at children and you see how children reason, one, children are highly imaginative, and they are not yet logical. They are very impressionable. So when you want to introduce anything to them, you have to be very careful because they are not yet able to clearly separate fantasy from reality. And this is the problem we have with some private schools. Because these children are very literal in interpretation. Anything you're telling them, they are looking at it from a literal point of view. They're not thinking maybe it is just maybe a fiction or something. They take it the way you tell them. That is why when you're telling it, that is why you could tell a child a story and this child will go to sleep because of their nature. You understand? So children copy behaviors from here. So when you tell a child that a dog did something and then you put an iron in the fire, when the iron became very hot, you stuck it into the nose of the animal. What are you teaching that child? Because when you teach that child that this is what we do to somebody because the person ate what we did not give the person to eat or you did not give permission to that child to eat, and then the punishment is to heat up iron and stick it in the person's nostril. What are you telling this child? You are teaching violence. And this child will grow up thinking that this is the right way to go. Because that age, that toddler age, up to 8, 9, 10, is a learning age. That's when medical people understand the frontal cortex of the brain is still maturing. So whatever they see and they assimilate, they want to put to practice. So I've not seen anything wrong with what that woman did. And at this point, I think we need to understand that repeated exposure can normalize bad behavior. And if a school where you send your child or your children and you are paying do not understand this, then that school has no business being in school. They should close it down.
Thank you so much.
You see, and I'm quickly to wrap up, and I'm also looking at the education ministry. It is high time to look into the textbook that they recommend for schools.
100%.
They need the textbooks, and they also need to look into schools. What are you teaching? What for syllabus like? What are the contents that you're teaching these children? Because you cannot say, oh, how did we get here? How did we get here? Meanwhile, we're the ones teaching these children how to become criminal, normalize bad behavior. Yes. Very unfortunate.
Absolutely. I actually agree with you. But I want to move to Susan, who's also an educator. Susan, what say you? I know that Ibn Abba is also an educator, but as an educator yourself, when you see this kinds of textbooks in the syllabus, in the curriculum, are there is there pushback from the teachers, or is it what the school, or is it an agreement between the school? Or Susan has left the call. Okay, let's move to Bookie. Hi Bookie. I want to
Yes,
ask
I'm
you a
here.
question based off of what Ibn Abbas said in terms of policies. Do you think that the government, no, it's not even do you think that, shouldn't there be a consequence to action, or shouldn't there be a library of books, or a library of, I don't even know how to explain it, where the education sector says these are the books for nursery 2, these are the books for nursery 1, and there's somebody checking, maybe a quality control person who's reading those books to make sure that these books are what, like what Ibn Abbas said, are what a child of 2 years. Why is a child of 2 years in school? A child of 4, 5 is supposed to be reading. I'll give you a case in point. My daughter, maybe some years ago, social studies, actually, even up until now, if you check most social studies books, they still say the husband is the breadwinner of the home, and the mom, the father is the breadwinner, and the mom is in charge of cooking. Now, in the climate that we are now, there's a mixture. Some fathers cook, some mothers cook, some fathers bring in money, some others. Now we have two income households. What's the balance? Shouldn't there be, okay, as life is moving, as culture is progressing, isn't there supposed to be something that says, let's change this? How can you still be writing this?
Okay, so let me say from my point of being a nation builder. I
Yeah.
always talk about 7 critical
Yes.
sectors that must be looked at. One of them is Ministry of Education, and this just brings a bit of shame, to the ministry. We are sending this word because I know they are doing a whole lot, to reform education.
Yeah.
But when we see all these black spots, it's also good for us to bring it out. I know for sure that there is an agency, I've forgotten the name of the agency, that looks at books and approves textbooks. They approve textbooks. So if this is coming out, and it passed through that sieve, then I want to challenge this agency that they have not done well. I know there's a whole lot of game, around it, because you get people to approve, you get the agency to approve your book, a whole lot of dynamics and politics and a whole lot of drama goes in there. But I think the Ministry of Education, with this, it has gone viral. They need to look at themselves in the mirror. What have they done to the Nigerian child? They need to go back and look at the system, the process of approving. It should not, I want to believe that it cannot just be one person, because different perspective. Then beyond that, where the Ministry of Education now sits is that what kind of children do we want to produce? The society is corrupt. What we see on media is corrupt. What we see in everywhere is corrupt. Where else can we form the mind aside from the family? It is the sphere of education. And that is where they must actually sit down to say, let us check all the contents that are going out. That even if you are damaged from your home or you are damaged from the society, if you are able to go through this system of education, right, you will be corrected. Because, like you said, they are inciting violence. A child is innocent. It's whatever you put in it. Though I do not know the lesson, because she did not tell us that, because let's balance these things, right? I'm not saying that that story is good. No, it's not. There are better ways of telling that story, that the child will know that there's something called bad and there's something called good. We all
Yeah.
went through it, you understand? In fact, I can imagine, because now the child is already forming what, okay, I'm going to use a rod. So the next time I want to be wicked to somebody, I'm going to get a rod, I'm going to put it inside fire, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. All kinds of things will be spanning out. Though, like I said, I do not know the essence of that. I'm sure somewhere along the line, there will be lessons that, okay, what the old man did, was it good or was it bad or whatever it is, but I still believe that there are better ways of presenting, this, to children, whereby you are reforming their mind. Education, you are reforming their mind. You are pouring the right content into them. It's an open vessel. So it's whatever you pour into them, it becomes a mold. You understand? It becomes a mold. So what exactly are we doing? So I want to believe that, or rather, I want to challenge the Ministry of Education, and particularly that agency that regulates textbooks. Then even when they regulate textbooks, let's now come back to the school, and I'll use that to wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
The school also has the right to check the content, to be sure that they are okay, because there's a whole lot of lists. So do you have to, it is not like in those days, that is Lacombe or whatever, General Matter or whatever it is. I believe that there are varieties. So you pick the one you want. And then for the people that are threatening, I think this is where security should come up.
Mm-hmm.
And even the lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
they should go after these people that are threatening her, to tell them that you don't do such things. You don't do such things. And I hope all of us will rally around this woman, to ensure that nothing happens to the children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Buki. Susan, before you left the call, I was asking what happens in schools as an educator yourself, when this kind, or when you see things like this in a textbook, right? Is there pushback from teachers, or is it a case of let's just go, is there an agreement between the publisher and the school? Is it a money making scheme where the school is not really looking into what they are giving to the students? I mean, there's so many questions to ask from this, but yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
Thank you, for me. The thing is, ideally, it is not even the teacher, it is the management, that liaises with suppliers or whatever. It is not, I'm just a classroom teacher. So, I mean, there is, just like every other parastatal, there is hierarchy. So it is not in my place. But I also agree that there are age appropriate, informations that should be put out. The question now would be, those who are supposed to review, because now you see a lot of books in the market. Some, I keep wondering, were these documents approved, or were they just sold to children? Is this just, did it go through the right channel? Because there are certain things you see, and you know that if they had passed through the right channels, the school would not take it. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But because there are other money making, my sister,
Hello,
we
Shan.
talked about a lot of things. There are other, ah, so these days, a lot of cutting corners are happening. Don't worry. If we're able to supply 150, this is your percentage. And so you don't look deep. You don't look at the things. And just last week, we still spoke about it here on HerLens. The idea of intimidation
Mm.
and harassment is becoming unbecoming.
It's ridiculous.
It wasn't a bread issue. What happened was beyond bread. This is addressing something. I mean, where is consumer protection, for crying out loud? That child does not know the content of the book. And that is why she has a mom who will point out those things. Just last week, we talked about bread. Someone came out to review bread and was picked up. Today, a woman is coming out to say, oh, I reviewed this book and the content, and the next thing is threats. And I'm like, okay, where does this leave us? Suffering and smiling, keeping quiet for things ordinarily we should speak up for.
Mm-hmm.
It is a time for the publishers or whoever If you have that energy to threaten, why not use that same energy to review your book? Are you saying that a woman who is paying for such book should just take anything? I beg for me. Not let me. I can go on and on and on and on.
That's all right. That's all right. This is still Women Reading at 1.7 FM. You want to make your calls right about now, 07000 or 9155 You can send your text messages to 0703-1756-537. We have the ladies of her lens here with us this morning. Ibinabo, Buki Femi Ajala, and Susan here with us this morning. We've been discussing the case of the mom who came out to cry out about what she saw, alarming content basically in her kids' school book, and now they are literally after her life. But yeah, Ibn Abba wants to say something before we go to the next headline.
Okay. Thank you. For me, we were talking about Booking mentioned. She was trying to recall the name of the appropriate. The agency. It is NERDC. That is the agency that takes care, that looks into all the books. They're supposed to check the book. They're supposed to see if it meets the developmental standards for children. They're supposed to reflect on whether it meets up with national values. They're supposed to check whether it is age appropriate and all of that. But because of all of these things that we do, all of was it Buki or Susan had mentioned that when you are promised that if you sell a certain number of books, you have a percentage of ROI, return on investment, or whatever. So people don't check, people don't bother. And it is really not the responsibility of the teacher. It is the responsibility of the school, but first, the responsibility of the ministry to recommend, to have reviewed before recommending a particular textbook for classes. And you're looking at the age that reading or taking in this content. It is very important. Another thing that came to mind was, it's unfortunate because we have FIDA in Nigeria, that is International Federation of Women Lawyers in Nigeria. And we keep seeing cases where women are being harassed because they chose to speak out.
Yeah.
And we don't see them. We don't see them, and it is not right. What are they doing? Is that organization or association does no longer exist in Nigeria? Because they are for whatever is to focus on protecting and promoting the rights of women and children when it comes to law. So the other woman about bread, it was some people who gathered around to help bail her. So what is FIDA doing? They need to be up and they need to come out and help us, because we can't keep quiet. These things happening, it's a way to take us back to place of reticence, where we can't speak up. We can't tell people or speak up on whatever we say that is wrong. They are trying to guide us again, taking us back to yesterday. So what is FIDA doing? I'm calling on FIDA to be up and doing. You have to come out and help these women, for them, represent them in whatever capacity as it pertains to the law of Nigeria. Thank you.
That's such a good point, because how come we have organizations, how come we have these groups that are there and they're seeing the things that are happening and they're not rising? That's a really, really salient point that you brought up. Thank you so much, Ibn Abo. Okay, next up.
Hello.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Sorry. We need to give credit to FIDA. I have an idea of how they work.
Okay.
They're on volunteer basis. Nobody funds them. And if you meet them, they're in branches depending on location and things like that. To be honest, they are overwhelmed. They are seeing to a whole lot of issues. But that does not mean that we should not tell them that they should please look at all these things. At least I expect that wherever this lady is, whichever location, there is a branch of FIDA there that she can actually call on them, and they also can actually go there, to help out. But at the same time, we give them credit. One share, but they need a whole lot. They need a whole lot. Yeah.
Okay, we're not even going to go to the next headline. Carry on, please. Let's be talking about FIDA and the girls. Carry on, Ibidaba. You want to say something?
No, today is not feed
See,
hours. Let's go to the next story, I beg.
Ibn wants to say
see,
something.
we have to give out the right information. Those people who went to help out with the woman that was accused of bread or whatever review, she didn't call out for those people. But they saw the content, they saw our dilemma, and they swung into action. I'm not undermining the effort of FIDA because whatever they do is pro bono. But what I'm saying is, when it has to do with issues about children and women, this is their special areas. We should be hearing them. We should hear them. I mean, there are many. There are many. So, and you know how cases run. Cases don't. Sometimes cases will be adjourned for years in Nigeria. So it's not as if this is one person or one chamber. They are a group of lawyers. I'm not going to undermine their efforts and what they have done in the past and what they are doing. But what I'm saying is, when we have stories like this, I'm taking my cue from what happened to the woman about bread review. That they should have been part of those people who went to rescue that woman.
Yeah.
That is my point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but that woman's story lingered for a while to the point she was taken to the police station and she was put in the cell. So, I mean, it is not something that happened under 24 hours. It took days. And people came in from Abuja. So what I'm saying is, I'm not denigrating or trying to run down their effort or discountenance. But what I'm saying is, we want them to come to the rescue of these women, because people are beginning to feel that they can take women back to the days of reticence. Days where something will be bothering you, you are in trouble and you can't speak up. We can't go back to yesterday. Yesterday was a bad time for women. We want to move forward and not to retrogress. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, at this point, we're not going to be able to take the second headline, but I think the point you're, both of you are actually making the same point, but is that we have we now have a pandemic of when people come out to complain about something and then they are penalized just because it's Nigeria that is seemingly lawless. Once you have money, you can take anybody to the police station, they can be arrested. If you recall, about 2 years ago, there was a lady who had come out to complain about a particular tomato paste, and up until now that woman never see road, and in the case of the lady with the bread as well, yes, I saw that and I was like, so now we can't complain, because here's the thing, these things are affecting us. I wouldn't want to go and buy bread that was not going to spoil after 2 days. Like, that's problematic for me because I have children, I have my own health to think about, I have the health of people in my house to think about. So the problem is when people come out, what's the move? Yes, granted, FIDA is voluntary, they're not funded, but if you've decided to come out to say you're responsible to fight for women, then how they say, uneasy wears the crown that lies the head. That's basically it.
Uneasy
Uneasy
lies the
lies
head that wears the
lies the
crown.
head that wears the
The
crown.
head that
And
wears the
Why
crown.
I teach my children. That's it.
I think there's something we are also looking at. The fact that people believe in the public more. Have we even thought of why people now come to the public space to do some of these things? The
Like you
woman
get
did that
justice.
review in the public.
Yeah.
Yes, the woman did that review publicly. When they served her, she also brought it to public notice. And that was where you see these activists that flew in and everybody that came together, including top officials that stepped in. There was nothing bad. We needed to hear the voice of FIDA. That is a woman under distress. We needed to hear them even put out a word officially, to say this. Even if it is technical expertise, in civil society, everything is not money. It could be technical expertise that you bring to.
Yeah.
The woman herself has done nothing. And I'm even happy now that I had to sue that organization. I can't wait to see, the twist around that party, because, why? Why are we using security operatives? And this is one of the things we spoke about last week, using security operatives to withhold citizens, to harass citizens, to intimidate citizens. Why? Why? Why should an average Nigerian not be able? I know it is bad for business, but if well handled, we said this last week, there are certain concerns that people raise. If it is well handled, trust me, not in Nigeria, your business go times 10. Oh, it was an oversight. Oh, this should not be there. This. I mean, even the Holy Book says wisdom is profitable to direct. And then instead of doing that, in this time and age where to get money to even buy that textbook, and some of these schools, they even make it mandatory. If you don't buy the book, this and that, they start acting somehow towards your children. And a woman or a man brings her money to buy the book, and you said they don't have the power to come out and review it and talk about it. Even if I know Nigerians, if that page was appropriate, same Nigerians will come out to say, no, what was in this area was not bad for that child. Trust me, there's a trending story now that I've been seeing, and I don't even go there, go find trouble. They have been attacking me, and I've been giving them basketballs because, come on, we have more pressing issues. Nobody should go and focus on what is not in our own business. We have more pressing issues. So I think we should start looking at why is it that Nigerians now feel safe coming out to the public than even going to the school. It's a cause for concern than even going to that school or going to the appropriate authorities. They believe in the public justice system now. I think it is a cause for concern, and even those in authority should start critically reviewing whatever system people have, whatever mechanisms that are set in place for people to report anything they feel is not appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ibinaba, you have your hand up.
Okay, thank you. In addition to what Susan said, I just want to say that, you see, if you look at Nigeria as a whole, this is a character, this is a mindset that we all, most of us have this mindset, and it is very unfortunate. People do not take responsibility for their mistakes. They don't own it. Rather, it's problem. If they have money, they want to use their money to frustrate the person who has brought them to the open. Look at our leaders. Somebody will come and become a governor, and he will tell you he's not doing well, and he will tell you, do you know what I met on ground? Blaming the previous government. And the story goes on like that. Other government will come in and blame the immediate past government. It is not acceptable. People should take responsibility for whatever they do, for whatever office they occupy. If you produce something that people end up faulting it, that this is not good, and so many voices are coming to fault it, you should be able to take responsibility for it and not just want to use your money to harass the other person, because it will take us back to this reticent. And going back to tomato story, do you know that I bought a particular tomato paste and I could perceive something that I would compare to this Kiloro Continue, and they used to wipe same clothes,
bleach.
Yeah, bleach or something close to bleach. When you bring the tomato paste, and I squeeze it, I poured everything in a bowl, and I could perceive some strange odor. So I brought it closer. I could perceive something, maybe it's bleach or something that shouldn't be eaten, that you will say, no, this is not edible. And I perceived it in that particular tomato. But if you come out and say it, if you show the people now, somebody will have the effort because they don't take responsibility, they don't own up to their mistakes. They will come and be using the money that you use to produce that product, to be looking for bribing security agents, bribing everybody to shut people down. It is unfortunate, and our leaders should begin to look into it. Even though everybody, as in I'm not removing myself, everybody is responsible. Everybody is it's part of this mess. People will make mistakes,
will mess up and they will transfer the responsibility of that mess up to somebody else. Oh, it is the past leadership. Oh, it is not me. Oh, it is that person. Let us own our mistakes and make amends and stop all these excuses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, ladies.
Okay. Can I
Yeah,
say one or
please.
two
Oh,
things?
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. I like to come from this perspective. Um, in as much as we go to the public space,
Mhm.
it's also good for us to get ourselves educated on what to do. For now, to be honest, the public space seems to be good because you might say, oh, you have gone there, you have complained, and nothing happens, which is true. It's possible nothing happens, and you have come to the public space
Mhm.
and something will happen. I know with all this one now, NAFDAC and Son, they will get up. They would go and check the bread, check everything, and then education, they will check this. You understand? However, I don't want us to lose the fact that we should also make complaints because some of these agencies are run by people who have their head correct. I remember this consumer protection agency. Somebody bought something in Computer Village. Somebody bought a phone. And when he got home or something like that, he found out that it wasn't, there was a problem with it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Ideally, when you take it back, you are supposed to be given a new phone.
Mhm.
But because he was aware that things are now started, things are now working in consumer product, he called them and immediately they responded. They met him at Computer Village. He came online. He came online to say it. Immediately they went to that place. The man came, they went to the store, and he said, well, I'm from consumer protection, right? And blah, 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 blah. This has to be replaced. Immediately, they didn't want Wahala. They replaced it. So if that person did not know about that, the person will not do it. So what am I saying today, right? Because I want people that are listening to get me. Yes, you will still have to come and talk on the public, but at the same time, can we begin to understand how these things work? Like we talk about feeder, right? I'm sure if you look for that lady and ask her, does she know about feeder? She'll say she doesn't know about feeder. It is because we know about feeder, that's why we are talking about them.
Mhm.
I have encountered them. That is why I know a bit about their operation. You understand? Some of their branches are struggling too. You understand? Because it's pro bono. You understand? But there are some that are taking up these things a lot, but we have called them out. That when it comes to women matter, at least I expect that they must have a team that is on social media that can pick anything any woman is saying. And
Right.
also the women should also know how to get in touch with FIDA, with Son, with NAFDAC, or whatever it is, to make their complaints. But yes, they can still come and talk because you might lay complaint and nobody is acting.
Fair.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. With that being said, we have come to the end of the I almost said newspaper review, the HerLens program this morning. When I prayed before the start of this program to say, God, please take control, God knew what he was doing because he knew that I was going to go up for the second story. So tomorrow we shall be taking that story. In fact, all over social media, I quickly went to check, like, people are weighing in on this matter, and I think that I'm not going to preempt myself. Tomorrow we shall do it. Thank you so much, Ibn Abel. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much, Buki, for coming on the program today. Of course, we love the varied comments and the varied contributions that we get from you. Catch us same time tomorrow at 9 o'clock for 9:05, beg your pardon, for another edition of Her Lens. Ladies, enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy it. Yeah, we're seeing tomorrow. Okay, we're switching to Women Reading Night.